the mind of a criminal. It's very, very interesting, and we're going to continue the series Criminal Minds here in 2016. So welcome to the first episode of 2016. Thank you guys so much. This one is a request by a very, 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 very much appreciated subscriber here on the Keith Carnes channel. Edward Karem has been following this channel for some time, so it's always cool to see his comments. I always appreciate the support, Edward, so thank you very much. And you wanted to know on my Q&A request thing, you asked, well, you requested Albert Fish for Criminal Minds, and we're doing it, man. Thank you for bringing this guy to my attention, because I've never heard of him, and he's very, very fucked up. And the more fucked up, the more interesting, the more better, and I can give you guys my opinion. So we're going to read a little bit about this piece of shit. We're going to give you my opinion, and I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments, and maybe we can have a conversation. Sounds good? Sounds cool? Let's do it. So, Hamilton Howard Albert Fish, born May 19th, 1870, died, or executed rather, January 16th, 1936. Damn, this guy lived a long time ago. Was an American serial killer. He was also known, now get this guy has a lot of aliases. This guy was known as the Gray Man, the Werewolf of Wisteria, the Brooklyn Vampire, the Moon Maniac, and the very cliched Boogeyman. That's 5 different names this guy went by. This is kind of weird. He was a child rapist and a cannibal. He boasted that he had children in every state. Wow, that is fucked up. And at one time stated the number was about 100. However, it is not known whether he was referring to rapes or cannibalization, nor is it known if the statement is even truthful. He was a suspect in at least 5 murders during his lifetime. Fish confessed to 3 murders, and police were able to trace to a known homicide, and he confessed to stabbing at least 2 other people. He was put on trial for the kidnapping and murder of Grace Budd, and was convicted and executed by electric chair. So this guy is definitely not the kind of nice guy that you would like to meet. Not only did this guy kill kids, which to me is the low of the low, that and child molesters, ugh, I can't fucking stand them. But this guy was also a cannibal, but not only that, but he was proud of what he did, which is just, to me, it's the worst kind of criminal out there, if you know what I mean. It's just the worst thing ever is when a criminal is just proud of what they did, you know? I mean, the thing I will say about certain criminals, like, you know, horrible criminals, well, you want to talk about cannibalization, let's talk about the most famous, infamous cannibal of all time, none other than Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer, I will give the guy cred. He never went and boasted about what he did. Now, supposedly he did in prison, and that's what got him killed. I don't really know if that's true or not, but Jeffrey Dahmer, I will give the guy credit where credit is due. And the fact is that the guy owed that he was fucked up. It wasn't anybody else's doing. His parents loved him. They were great parents, but he was just a fucked up person. This guy, he owns what he did, sure, but he's such a piece of shit about it, you know what I mean? Now, I don't want you guys to get it wrong. I'm not condoning what Jeffrey Dahmer did. He was a piece of shit in his own light. But this guy, wow, I've never heard of this guy either, and he even is a creepy motherfucker. If you saw the, if you saw my thumbnail, you know that guy's like fucking creepy. So he was 65 when he died. It is just crazy. It is just, this guy is just crazy, crazy gross. So, my opinion on the guy is that the guy was an absolute piece of shit. He was pretty much evil in about as much evil as you can get, evil in person. The fact that, like I said, just killing kids, raping kids, they're just, it's so bad, you know, it's just such a, it's just something that, to me, it's the low of the low. These people should be taken out back and shot. I don't believe in giving these people, you know, time in prison or anything like that. Why? I mean, you can't fix these people. They're fucking, they're disgusting. They're waste of life. They're fucking scum. Just kill them. And I'm happy to hear that this guy was executed by electric chair. But the fact that this guy just boasted about raping and killing children and eating children is just really, really bad. It's really, really bad to me. You know, there's just something about that, yeah. So I guess he sent a letter. It says in November 1934, an anonymous letter was sent to the girl's parents. This is the girl that he murdered, of course. which ultimately led the police to Fish. Mrs. Budd was illiterate and could not read the letter herself, so she had her son read it to her. The unaltered letter, complete with Fish's misspellings and grammatical errors, reads, "My dear Mrs. Budd, in 1894, a friend of mine shipped as a desk hand in a steamer Tacoma, Captain John Davis. They sailed from San Francisco to Hong Kong, China. On arriving there, he and 2 others went ashore and got drunk. When they returned, the boat was gone." Yeah, so this guy wasn't very smart. At that time, there was a famine in China. Meat of any kind was from $1 to $3 a pound. Wow, wish meat was still that cheap. So great was the suffering among a very poor that all children under 12 was sold to the butchers to be cut up and sold for food in order to keep others from starving. A boy or a girl under 14 was not safe in the street. You could go in any shop and ask for steak, chops, or stew meat. Part of the naked body of a boy or girl would be brought out and just what you wanted cut from them. A boy or girl's behind, which is the sweetest part of the body, and sold as a veal cutlet, brought the highest price. John Stan there was no to acquired a taste for human flesh. On his return to New York, he stole 2 boys, one 7 and one 11, took them to the house, stripped them naked, and tied them in the closet, and then burned everything they had on. Several times every day at night he spanked them, tortured them to make their meat good and tender. First he killed the 11-year-old boy because he had the fattest ass and of course the most meat on it. Every part of his body was cooked and eaten except his head, bones, and guts. He was roasted in the oven, all of his ass boiled, broiled, fried, stewed. The little boy was next, went the same way. At the time I was living at 409 E 100 Street, rear right side. He told me so often how good human flesh was. I made up my mind to taste. I'm sorry, this guy is, wow, this guy was retarded. Well, I just lost my place. On Sunday, June the 3rd, 1928, I called on you at 406 W 15th Street, brought you a pot cheese strawberries. We had lunch. Grace sat in my lap and kissed me. I made up my mind to eat her on the pretense of taking her to a party. You said yes, she could go. I took her to an empty house in Westchester I had already picked out. When we got there, I told her to remain outside. She picked wildflowers. I went upstairs and stripped all my clothes off. I knew if I did not, I would get her blood on them. When all was ready, I went outside. I went to the window and called her. Then I hid in the closet until she was in the room. When she saw me naked and she began to cry and tried to run downstairs, I grabbed her and said that she would tell her mama. First, I stripped her naked. How did she kick and bite and scratch? I choked her to death, then cut her. You guys, I don't know if you guys want to hear this, but I'm going to say it, so skip a little bit if you don't want to hear this. I cut her in small pieces so I could take my meat to the rooms, cook and eat it. Jesus. How sweet and tender her little ass was roasted in the oven. I took 9 days to eat her entire body. I did not fuck her, though. I could have, I wished. She died a virgin. Police investigated the letter. The story concerning Captain Davis and the famine in Hong Kong were unable to be verified. Part of the letter concerning the murder of Grace Budd, however, was found to be accurate in its description of the kidnapping and subsequent events, although it was impossible to confirm whether or not Fish had already actually eaten parts of Grace's body. So if that does not tell you guys how absolutely evil and fucked up this guy was, I really don't know what is. This is definitely one of the most deprived, one of the most sickest and most disgusting things I have read. And this is coming from a guy that goes documenting reality, and that mother, I cannot imagine her pain and listening, having the killer of your child write you and tell you in detail how he murdered and ate your child. That is a whole new level of evil. I mean, this guy, like I said, this guy didn't only just kill this little girl. but he ate her and boasted about it to her own mother. I mean, Edward, you sent me quite the doozy. I was not expecting this. I actually didn't even know about the letter until I scrolled down a little bit here while talking about this, and yeah, this is really, 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 really fucked up. And if you guys are still here, you're tough guys, tough girls, and I thank you guys very much for watching this episode of Criminal Minds. Definitely one of the more disturbing ones I've done. This is Edward Karem. Thank you again, Edward, and I will see you guys in the next. Take it easy and be safe.